Hey guys, how's it going? It's Kai here with another Exos video. So in today's video, we're going to be finding the most efficient way to level a character from start to finish. I figured this would be a good video because there's so much of this game that involves leveling up your characters. Whether it's a character you actually are planning on to use on your team, or just a character that you need to fulfill a certain combat power, so much of this game involves actually leveling up characters. So let's break down exactly what the most efficient way is and break down all the things that I could think of when it comes to this process. And let's start with exactly why this matters. And why this matters is for so many different reasons. First of all, just the most simple reason is you have a character you want to use, and this is how you're going to get them better. Like as you take them up from 3, 4, 5, all the way up to 6 stars, they're going to get more health, more attack and defense in the game. And they're going to be potentially able to get more mana, stuff like that. Perform better in whatever content you're trying to do. Other reasons are going to be for if you ever want to be able to quick battle certain matches, you're going to need certain levels of combat power to fulfill those requirements. For example, if you want to be able to do this, see now this is easy. I can actually quick battle this if I actually had tokens for it versus actually having to play it out because I've fulfilled the combat power required. I wish I could show you, but it's in preparation. But clan raid is all purely based on your combat power of your characters of that particular dragon that you're facing. So having more combat power is going to be very beneficial for helping your clan out and getting as much damage as possible. Another thing is going to be personally for your account is Embodiment of Avarice. Embodiment of Avarice is purely going to be based on the power level of your characters. And as you get further and further on with your Embodiment of Avarice team, you're going to need more and more power associated. So you're going to be constantly leveling characters throughout the entire process of the game. Check out my roster currently. Pretty much I'm looking to up to about 15 to 20 characters per faction eventually. I know this is very long-term thinking, and so 75 is going to be the main requirement I'm looking for these characters, because or you'd actually progress it, especially in Embodiment of Avarice, you're going to need them fully max level. Okay, so we already covered the content on why we are going to want to level up these characters. But there's another built-in reason why you're going to want to level these characters, and it has to do with the journal. So when you're in the journal here, click on any character, it doesn't matter. You're going to want to click on this little bag. This is an up arrow in a bag. You click that, and then you're going to see these hero growth rewards. And how this works is once you hit a character level 60, 75, and 90, and then if this character was not like a 4-star character, like let's say you go to a rare, the growth rewards are going to be going from 45 to 60, for example. Here, let me find a rare. Okay. And then hit it going from 30 to 45, is going to also be another growth reward. Let's see if there's one for magical. And then that's going to be the maximum amount. So we got 45, 60, 75, and 90 are going to be growth rewards. And then as you can see here clearly, it's going to be the 10 Exodium tokens, and then 70 Zest total here, 20, and then 50. And lastly, they're going to be these tokens that give you fated gears. So you get the Relic Dragon Dynasty, and also you get a Star of Fate that is going to allow you to roll for fated gear just for leveling the character up to 90. The best bang for your buck is definitely going to be level 60 and level 75. You're going to get 70 Zest total per each character you level up. So now that we know why it matters to actually level up characters, even if they're characters you never use. Like there's so many of these characters in my roster that I've never used, but I still level because I want them for especially the dragon, your Air Squad dragon, and Embodiment of Avarice. You really want to have them actually leveled up so you can hit those further and further tiers down. And then there potentially, if you're watching this video in the future, maybe there's more potential parts of content that is going to require higher levels of combat power. Now that we know why we're doing it, let's talk about exactly what the most efficient way is. First thing, let's start with a 3-star character. I think that's a good way to start. And based on this, what I've noticed is based on whatever star level we got, you're going to get, the efficiency is going to change. Because we're gonna be balancing resources here on how to level a character. So let's think about all the ways to level a character. First thing is going to be the level. That's going to be experience tomes. Then next is going to be enhancing, and enhancing is going to be the big choice you have on how to level up a character. And what enhancing is every time you're at a star level, you're going to need to enhance them 5 times before you can bless them to the next star tier. And the gold requirement, because that's another resource that's being used here, is for example, when you're enhancing a character, the gold amount is going to change based on what level they are. And you're going to also need to be able to monitor which star level of enhanced material you're going to use too. Because if this is a 5-star character, you use a 5-star enhancement material, it's going to be 100% of the time and use 11k gold, for example. Or you can still pay 11k gold, but if you use a 4-star material, it's going to be 55 or 50%, depending on if you have the right affinity for it. You're just going to need to be able to balance between the two on what's worth, like when it's worth it, when it's not, because obviously the 4-star is going to be significantly less rare than, say, a 5-star piece. So mainly when it comes to this. And then lastly, there's going to be 6-star, and then the gold is going to go up even further. For example, let's find a 6-star that's not enhanced. We got one here, and if I try to do a 5-star, let's say 5-star nature, that's going to be 20k gold to do that, and 55%. I would need a 6-star enhancement material to make sure it's 100%. So you're going to want to balance between the two. Main thing is the higher up you go, the more it's going to be worth it to make sure you are doing the right star level for the hero. So now, since Kaya is 6-star in this example, the best enhancement material to use is if you want to be the most efficient, is wait until you get 6-star enhancement materials. And you're going to get punished significantly harder if you're inefficient here versus being inefficient down below in the lesser tiers, because the gold requirement is significantly less, as we'll talk about. I just want to explain this concept, and I think the best way to do so is through high-level characters. So just be very careful when you're using enhancement material. As I'm in lower tiers, I will use the 50%, maybe even the 25% enhancement rate, because the gold requirement for failing is significantly less. Okay, so now that we know that, we're going to be managing our experience tomes. We're going to be talking about our gold and then our enhancement materials. Okay, now we're going to go to level 3. Let's just filter level 3, 3-star, and then here we go, 3-star character. We're going to be taking them up the best way. Well, not the best way. When you're taking a character up from 3-star, they need to go from level 1 up to 45. And then once that's the max level of a 3-star character. And that's going to make it to where they're allowed to be enhanced. All right. So here we go. I already got these characters. And what I like to do is since all characters are eventually going to be used, as you can see here, a lot of these characters I haven't fully leveled yet, but what I like to do is I like to at least lock one of them, just because eventually you're going to need all these characters. So I'm kind of thinking long term here, but for example, I have every single character that, these characters you're going to get a lot of, like potential copies of. So I at least, just for peace of mind, I have them all locked. And what I like to do is I'll go through my whole hero list and I'll organize them. Like I'll kind of organize through each, either star tier or, like, for example, I'll go through all my fire characters, all my frost characters. And usually it's depending on the day. So today's nature. So I'd go through my characters and then see which ones, like, oh, does this guy need to be transcended? Should I bother transcending him? Or, stuff like that. Like, that's a character I'm probably never going to actually, take advantage of the transcending. So I'll just use that as an enhancement material, usually with characters. So I wanted to explain that first before I'm going to use a level 41, because all the level 1s I don't really need. So here we're going to go nature. We're going to go rare character, or we're going to go 3-star character. It doesn't matter if it's rare. 3-star character. And let's take up this guy. And we're going to level them up. The most efficient way to do this first thing we need to talk about is the experience tomes. And the most efficient way to do this is going to be finding the right days or right typing for that character. So this is a nature character. So all these are going to be very inefficient for leveling him up, because if we had the corresponding type, we would get a boost to his experience gain. So obviously you're going to want to do that. For the sake of this video, let's see if we can afford it. I think I've already bought an experience thing today. So here, let's go here, because I have all this zest. So I don't want to be too efficient. I've already spent it all, so I don't want to do that. It's just way too inefficient to spend 300 zest for one, 3 passes of experience tomes. We're just gonna bear with me. We'll do the correct day. We'll find a we'll just change characters. We got a darkness and then 3-star. We'll go here. Here's a character we need to level up anyway. We got Eclipse here. Let's level him up. We have the corresponding type. Notice how the difference in the amount of experience. So you're getting a pretty big boost here, going from 12K versus 16K. So it's definitely worth to do. We're going to level him up. Already takes him to 35, 41, 55, 3 tomes here to actually do that. Ideally, what you would have is you have like dispatch materials as well. They're going to be a little less. So maybe I wouldn't need to use this third one. You could be a little bit more efficient there because I believe there's probably some overlap when it comes to actually leveling them up, potential waste. The overlap, actually, there totally is overlap. We see it here. Notice how I have him transcended. 86% of this level got filled. So if you don't have the character transcended, doing it this way where there's only 3 tomes would be a waste. And then these kind of things, yes, they're like very small and I'm spending a lot of time on it, but look at how many characters I'm leveling up. If you're doing little inefficiencies like this over the course of an entire account, that's going to be a massive detriment over the long haul. Efficiency is the name of the game when it comes to these type of games. So I like to point stuff like that out. We're leveling them up. Here at 45, it's going to, obviously unlock the ability to have a couple pieces of gear. We got the 4 pieces of gear here. As you can see, level 70 and level 75 are really important because they're going to unlock the next 2 tiers. In the meantime, what we're going to do is we're going to be enhancing them so we can actually bless him up to the next tier. Here, notice how earlier when we were enhancing characters, it was 20K. If it was a 6-star character, it was 20K per attempt. Here, it's only 3,000 per attempt. So I think it's definitely worth it to just take a shot. Ideally, you would have, darkness versions of these, so you'd have 55%. I think it's totally worth it to just go for the 50%ers here. The higher you go up, the gold is too much of a resource to risk that. And then the rares don't come as often to be able to do that. And then depending on where you're at in the game, that's why I think using 2 stars here is going to be the most efficient for upgrading 3s to 4s. When it comes to 4 stars, I think that's going to change. We'll do that when we reach level 4. So here we're going to enhance them. Let's see what we actually get here. We end up getting 3 out of the 5. And then a big thing to note is when you fail, you're going to be getting a bonus enhancement rate that's going to slightly increase the odds of you getting it. So for this, let's just do the 200%. Let's call it only 6K gold to do that. Then next, what we're going to do is we're going to bless the character. Here, there's really no way to save efficiency there's really no way to save efficiency here. This is going to be the way to do it. Regardless, you're going to have to take these, break these down, make this, and then you're going to have to take these, break these down, and make whatever this is. Here, what is the name of these things? Yeah, you're going to have to make the Darnock's visage, and then you're going to need to make Darnock's powder. So you're gonna have to do that regardless. It's always going to be 26K gold. There's no way to increase that at all. So we'll bless him. Now he's 4-star. Same, pretty much everything still applies. Just now the enhancement amount is 7K per attempt versus 3K per attempt. So it's more than double the amount. So this is going to be the time where I like to go 100% and all the way through till the end, just because gold is the real bottleneck here. And then if you just be patient, you'll save a ton of gold in the long run by being very efficient with your enhancement upgrades. Like if you sit here, especially if you're doing these 25%ers, that's so much gold wasted. And I used to do that when I first started playing. I didn't have any frame of reference. I used to be very inefficient when it came to enhancing heroes. Now, absolutely refuse to do that. I think this is the absolute last part where it's potentially worth it to go for the 55%, in my opinion. But when you get to 5-star, it's just such a gold sink if you're going to do that. Hey, if you get lucky, cool, good for you. But over the long haul, I really don't think it's worth it. This is going to be the last time where you can argue that case, because this is a ton of gold to take characters up from here. Because you're not even, also another thing, it's so much gold and you're not even almost done yet, because you have to get the character now from 60 to 70 and then do it again. So now that we're done with this, we enhance this character. I don't have the gold for it, obviously. So what I'm going to do is, here we go. We got Ledger here, level 64, because of the that she was transcended. So she's 5 stars. So that means she'll be able to go up to 75. We just need to get her up there, and she's perfect typing. As you can see, notice how big of a difference this really starts to add up when you make sure you're putting your correct homes on the correct characters. And I know sometimes you get tunnel vision. I do this all the time. If I want that instant gratification, I will just do it. You really notice the difference. And if you make sure you're implementing these tips over the long haul, you will be getting so much more than the typical player. And then here we go. We use all these. This still is not enough. If we want to be inefficient, we can do that. We need to get her to level 75. So I'm just going to do it. I don't really need fire up too much. And let's just go machine 2. Okay. So then what I like to do too is I like to take it and just go right up to the edge, level 75. This is where we're taking her. Boom, she's level 75 now. This is going to be a good spot to stop because now we just took her to 75. Here, we'll be able to go to the journal. And then here, let me move my webcam here really quick because this is going to be the thing you want to look for. This receives all hero rewards. You click that, then rewards sent to mailbox. This is going to be, notice how we leveled up a few characters during this. So then we got, this was one of the low characters that we took up to 45. We got that. And then this is Ledger. We got 50 Zest just for the cost of the experience tomes. Now that we got these characters to 75, there's a couple options that you have based on how good of a character it is. Let's just go to my typical character. My rule of thumb on how I determine if I'm going to level the character or not. And so sorry that my characters are all kind of messed up here. Like there's a lot of good characters down here. It's because I'm moving all the gear for embodiment avarice. That's a very temporary thing. That's something I don't usually recommend unless you're going for a goal. So I'm going for S tier rank. I have the gear for it. This is kind of like a side thing. Got S tier rank yesterday for Frost. Now I'm going for S tier rank on Nature. And this is something that we can talk about in another video, but that's why all my gear is moved on all these other characters here for Nature Day. Even this is very not normal. Reason why I want to bring this up after we level up a character to 75 is we need to determine how much further we're going to go with this character. And 75 for most characters is my breaking point. That's the minimum to get all the Zest and also the minimum to get all their gear on there. If you're actually going to be using the character, for example, if they're in your arena team, those are going to be the ones, in my opinion, that deserve the most resources. So in my case, it's going to be Rara is obviously going to be one, but 6 stars is a good way to start. And then all these characters that are in the high 80s, 85 minimum is going to be the characters that I would want for my arena team. And then we got Annie, we got Bathory, we used to have Xeon. We have Rara, all these characters. I'm fully maxing in. Diva, I've used on my arena team. It definitely could use some more levels, but someone that I've definitely maxed, or I'm looking to max. Also, when it comes to Rachel, all like just the really premium characters we're going to take up to there. But then for most characters, we're not going to 6-star them. We're going to just 5-star them and then keep them in this 75 range, just because it's such a nice place to end. Like here's another character that I'm definitely going to want to take to 75 to get that Zest, for challenges, embodiment, stuff like that. That's pretty much what it comes down to when you're evaluating if a character needs to be, blessed or not. Another thing, if it's a character I like and I'm wanting to use, how I determine if I'm going to 6-star that character, that's not going to be really a big change in their stats. It's going to be a change in their potential stats if I'm going to level them. What I like to look for is, does that character have a burst move? Especially in the beginning, it's really nice to be able to try to min-max exactly which one I like to do first, because these blessing materials are so rare in the beginning of the game. How I like to determine it, for example, notice how Bathory here on her moves, she has this move here where it does a lot of damage to all enemies. But here's the key part, that burst aspect that you can see right there. What that means is it's going to use all of her extra mana and convert it into more damage. You have a character that has burst. The reason why that's a nice thing is once you hit 6-star, you get the potential to store 10 mana versus 5 mana. So that's why burst moves just become so much better. Even if their stats do not change at all, just the ability alone of being able to stack more mana is so important when it comes to burst move. Like Annie's a character, Bathory's a character, Rachel's a character when it his A3 here, when it comes burst. We got Ridley here, he has a burst move. Both of his A3s, depending on if you have the fake war version or if you have the normal version, 2 completely different moves, but both of them are burst abilities. So I like to prioritize those characters first if I'm going to be choosing between 2 characters that are very good that I'm going to 6-star. I know, guys, this is a lot of information to take in, a lot of different little side things for actually leveling up characters. I think there's a lot more to it than just here how you level up the characters. It's why you level up the characters, which characters you choose to level, and then which characters you choose, how far you level them is really going to matter, especially in the long haul when you're going to be leveling up all these characters. As you can see here, let me just kind of do another last little run through on all these 75s, and all these definitely very beneficial to an account for the consistent rewards you're going to be getting daily. That's going to do it for me in this video. If you guys have any questions on leveling up characters, building your heroes, be sure to let me know down in the comments below. As always, I answer pretty much all the questions down there. If you found this video helpful or if you learned something, please leave a like for the algorithm. It really helps with the channel, and you guys have a good one. Peace.